Mr. Michael Jansen, Friends of Brown Deer Park, North 44th Street, and Norma Zahner from East Spooner Road in Fox Point, registered but not speaking. So thank you for coming today and filling out your cards. We hear you. A few more cards. Mr. Jim Gooley, Preserve Our Parks. Do you have a delivery? At least 3 hours.
Good morning, Mr. Chair. Supervisors, Mr. Chair, thank you for having public comments today.
Mr. Gooley.
Think back a couple of years ago when County Executive first proposed selling O'Donnell Park. There's a public outcry. Ultimately, I think both the County Exec's office and the board seemed hell-bent on divesting of O'Donnell Park. Ultimately came to a good solution, the best it could, actually, in light of the fact that the county wanted to divest, and that's that the land underneath O'Donnell stays with the county, and just the structure, it's like a condominium. Structure above is going to be owned by the art museum. So, what I was making a huge point about years ago when that was being discussed and debated was, how do you intend to replace the net revenue that was derived from O'Donnell year after year after year? And at the time it was like 1.5 million. Never got an answer to that question, even though I and others asked it often. So it seems to me, in light of Mr. T. Willie Smith's comments, you've had 2+ years to figure this out, and this is the best you can come up with. That's not very encouraging. I again want to echo some of the thoughts that were mentioned before. It seems to me, though, that one of the onerous things about this, if it's incorporated throughout the system, or anywhere for that matter, is the effect it's going to have on the park partners, those businesses that are in harmony with the parks, creating revenue for the parks and themselves. But, you know, the beer gardens, a couple of them are privately, a few of them are privately owned. You have a couple of county-owned beer gardens now, and the traveling beer garden. How is paid parking going to affect that revenue stream from the beer gardens, the domes, Burner Botanical Gardens, swimming pools, athletic fields? You know, in the evening and on the weekends, the parks are loaded with families, vans that come in because the younger kids are partaking in soccer. What impact would it have on those people? What impact would it have on those people with little means to enjoy their parks? I think those questions have to be answered, and I really think that this thing should be scuttled. And in light of the fact that you guys are basically up for election every other year, this is something that's going to stick with your constituency. You have to give it serious consideration before you decide which way to go on this. And that's all I have to say. Thank you very much.
Mr. Gooley, you wrote the editorial piece recently about this proposal, right?
I did.
All right. I got to say, the claim about charging $3.50 was based on Chicago.
No, it was based on some of the notes. You probably have them, the notes from the work group. And that was there were various scenarios, and they were, proposing to charge anywhere between $1 and $3.50 an hour. When you're trying to make a point, you choose the higher amount. Obviously, I don't know whether that'll be the case. Ultimately, it comes down to the parking vendors. They're going to have to do their due diligence on this and really figure out if long-term it makes sense for them to do it as well. And I got a feeling that if it makes sense to them long-term, they're going to want to get a decent dollar out of it because they're investing up front in the infrastructure to carry this out. So it seems to me they're going to go for the higher dollar amount. Maybe I see a supervisor cringing over there, but it's just in my logic that makes sense. And I think if you're a for-profit organization, it makes sense for you as well. So they're not going to charge 75 cents an hour. It's going to take years to get back their money. And that's another thing, once you sign a contract with a vendor, you're stuck.
Sure. Supervisor Taylor?
Well, I cringe because I never hear solutions. And of course, your op-ed piece was going, it's your opinion, obviously. It's the
That's
op-ed
all it
piece.
is, sir.
And of course, you always go to the higher number to try to scare those that are reading the article. I mean, that's what
Scare anybody,
that's
but-
what you've done for all the 6 years I've been down here. That's all you've ever done, you know? So what's the solution then? I'm not saying I'm for this. And when I looked at the map, I know the supervisor of the 4th District was up here earlier. She talked about it like heavily weighted along the lakefront. If you look at the west side of the county, there's as many red dots on the west side of the county as there is on the lakefront. So, that was misleading statement. So what's the solution then? What is it? Do you have one? Are you going to offer one? If you can't do it now, that's fine. I want to put you on this spot. I mean, I'll give you plenty of time to go home and sit at your computer and put together an op-ed piece of your solution.